This is a can of pop that I have made. I only had to harness the power of a neutron star and pay double the cost of the gross output of Lincolnstein. And it took the same amount of time that ancient Rome needed to rebuild, twice, and I only got to fill it up halfway. But what I am going to do is drink it. Cheers. It tastes great.
However, I just deceived you. I had actually unintentionally ingested toxic sludge. My insides are now melting. Velvet and black substances spout out of my mouth like a fountain. My house is caught on fire, my room has been reduced to rubble, and the landlord has my name scribbled on the wall with his blood. Pop stocks have dropped, toxic sludge stocks have crashed, and LeBron James has officially retired from the Lakers, and the planet explodes. So low-key I messed up. But every time a soda can gets made, food or body care products gets manufactured, or anything that has to do with mass chemical production, this can happen. That's an exaggeration, but there are professionals out there that avoid this disaster while producing the most product with the least resources. If you think about it and look around, they pretty much make everything that's next to you or in your room. Point to at least anything. It could even come down to the color or just the shape or even the material inside it. I'm talking about I'm Brent McGuire. You might have seen me if you follow the Rapid Event account where my face is like plastered on 6 every other post, but I hate to break your heart, but unfortunately I am Filipino. But technically that title should be removed because I barely know any Tagalog. Oh, and here's my vision board if you wanted to see that. It features like the best albums that have ever graced the earth, you know. I mean, here's my guitar, there's my dog. Yeah, I play a little bit of volleyball, but I'm not gonna lie, you know, for being a senior, I'm pretty bad at it. There's also like this huge animation I made that I'm not gonna give you the title of. I did snowboarding once, and that's the reason why my wrist is like currently shattered at the moment. If you didn't know, I'm interested in chemistry, physics, and pre-cal. Being good at those things is gonna lead to a good chemical engineer. My mom and my dad are probably going to support me in my goals. I hope they do. What else does it say here? So like by finishing calculus 12, I'll probably be pretty good at engineering. Hopefully, you know, you need to be good at calculus. I hope I get a degree, or I hope I make it to UBC and, you know, graduate. That's very important to one of my goals, to becoming a chemical engineer. And alright, okay, that's 1 minute. Back to the video.
What is chemical engineering? Well, I can't answer that.
I only heard about it because I was in a car ride with my mom, and she was like, so what are you good at, Brent? Math, physics, and chemistry, like numbers. Why don't you become a chemical engineer? And I was like, sure, that sounds pretty cool.
I was absolutely miserable when I started working full-time. I tried to look for other chemie jobs, but wasn't even.
So tackling this question is what this video is going to be about. But if only it was that easy.
There are so many questions, a rabbit hole present amongst everyone. How is chemical engineering important? What does it take to become one? Literally though, what is chemical engineering? Will the new genes ever get back together again?
It really hit me, like, I'm pursuing this career I don't even know about.
Answering this is my capstone. Will I actually pursue the career after learning about it? I needed to do some research. And that's when
Hey Brent, can you hear me?
I'm interviewing Alona Makarska. Alona is a performance-driven professional chemical engineer with 15 years of experience in novel materials, process development, and product management.
I'm responsible for the chemical material because I'm a chemical engineer by training.
She has developed and launched multiple cutting-edge products and processes in automotive, semiconductor, and digital printing industries. In other words, Alona is locked in. I reached out to Alona through my family friends, and she was thankfully able to give me her time so she could answer my questions and suspicions about chemical engineering. I asked her if you can do some job shadowing at her workplace, but unfortunately MKS Instruments do not allow that. And so
I behaved naturally, responded kindly, and asked if we could do an alternative interview instead.
To summarize our interview, I asked her these questions. Yeah, I'm not reading all that, but thankfully V1 from Ultrakill will. Yeah, I hope you caught that.
As a chemical engineer, what we need to make sure when A reacts with B, to make C, nothing explodes. We can use the least possible amount of materials to get the best of C quality, and to use the least of the A and B quantities to get the most of good C product without any byproducts. 50 years ago, 70 years ago, chemical engineering was only classical chemical engineering. Classical chemical engineering, it's about oil refinery, it's about some chemical process, classical chemical process which is running. What our company is doing, we are supplying thermal and position sensors for semiconductor technology. So you can see that the variety of industries. So there is some chemistry there, and you do need an engineer who can design experiments,
Yes.
analyze. If you are going to chemical engineering, you will, like, one of the courses will be separation, and all separation is doing is using different formulas to find optimal conditions, but you just need to find optimal condition to what you want to get as your final product. First of all, being an engineer, you need to be a part of EGBC, Engineers and Geoscientists in British Columbia. When you go to university, you have an option to do a co-op. 4 to 8 months when you work under an engineer, then you get graduated, but you still cannot call yourself an engineer in Canada. There are four main things to submit: transcripts, your experience, seminar, and you will need to have an exam. The second certification, which I find also very useful, is Lean Six Sigma, because Lean Six Sigma to analyze data in a statistical way. So to succeed in chemical engineering, you need to like two things. You need to be really good in math. You also need to understand chemistry, but you don't need to be extremely good in chemistry. It's not that you are going to be a chemist, you are going to be chemical engineer. And this is what many people often confuse. I actually graduated from biochemical engineering, and I had lots of courses in math. But from the beginning, I was in biochemical engineering, which was a 4 years program. We had technical English also, because you need to write papers. After generating this fundamental knowledge, then you can move into more specific courses of chemical engineering, where you will implement all this to characterize and analyze processes which are related to chemical engineering. After I finished my undergrad, I actually continued to masters. I don't think for engineers it's necessary to continue into masters. If you want to sit in the office, just work with a computer, it's not a chemical engineering.
Yeah.
In this case, just go to software engineering, because it will be a better fit. If you do enjoy to have actual process running, measuring and characterizing actual process, having your hands dirty with materials, be in the lab. If you are going to classical chemical engineering, it won't be located in urban area. It will be somewhere far away. If yes, chemical engineering can be a good fit.
Because of Alona, I actually understand the career I'm going into, which I feel like is a pretty big deal. I also asked her what her thoughts on AI were, and here's what she said.
AI can definitely help, because being an engineer, you still need to communicate your result. For this, you will use lots of presentations, and AI can definitely help you, right, to understand the quality of data, to evaluate this data and draw conclusions. It's a next level, and I don't think that AI will ever be able to substitute engineers.
So that's it. Chemical engineering, right? Seems kind of cool. I mean, a lot better than what I initially thought about it. I realized I was putting in a lot of effort to explain this occupation to what it seemed like someone else. I actually needed to learn the occupation for myself, and so I was like, maybe I should learn something about it and how it affects me. A job that's for me. And to be honest, to this day, I still can't find something that makes it affect me. Unless...
I work at a pizza restaurant. This is bread. I guess you can consider the same type of bread you use to make pizzas at the pizza restaurant. This is chemically a product of chemical engineering, at least in mass production. That tastes horrible. Oh my god.
That's right. Boom! What is the role of chemical engineering in food production? Well, I actually found this research document all about it. It looks very professional and stuff. I don't even know if I'm allowed to show it to you. This research document covers important chemical factors and processes that go into mass food production, with this paper focusing on dough, like pizza dough. In this paper, there are techniques to minimizing resources and ensuring that the dough is as good as the Papa John's guy says it is. It's like 16 pages long, and so I sat down for a couple hours, grabbed the coffee, and read it word by word to summarize. Passing of floured polymers into a solution. What is amylolysis? Just gonna mine off screen real quick. This paper taught me a lot of things about how chemical engineering plays a part in dough production. It affects things like process optimization, material properties, role of ingredients. It plays a huge factor in equipment design, because the whole thing about chemical engineering is, designing dough mixers that work to the best of what has been shown in the studies of, proper dough mixing. Chemical engineers also need to ensure that dough mixing technologies can be scaled up without compromising the dough's quality. And there's also things like sustainability. It's actually a pretty interesting read if you're into chemical engineering. But thanks, Miss MacArthur, for putting me on this document. I love reading. What I'm thinking right now? Not really. But why not really? I'm gonna be so honest with you. Don't get me wrong, chemical engineers can probably make enough money to buy the whole Fortnite battle pass like that, And I would love to buy this golden gorilla statue that's been chilling in the back of my head for months. Engineering is very competitive in general. Yeah, it almost feels like I've been surrounded by Project Isaac Newtons around me in class, getting like hundreds. And if that's just in my class, can you imagine schools around the entire province or country or world? I'm good with numbers, but maybe not enough to be an engineer. And it's not just competitiveness, it's just also the fact that engineering is really hard. I'm not going to give up though. I'm gonna see this path through and see where it takes me. I might be expecting to drop it, but at least if I go down this path, maybe I can choose something around that field or figure out something about myself I didn't know in general. I don't know, that's just kind of the way life goes. I just gotta keep moving. It's either I do this, chemical engineering, or I become a reaction streamer. So that would kind of suck. But yeah, goodbye.